and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To uncover.
Chaplain.
I say we're going a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Thank you all for being here today. It's an honor to have such dignitaries at our post, so thank you for being here. Let's uncover and bow our heads for prayer. Almighty God, we will come to you today in prayer to ask your continued blessings, not only on our Legion, but on all legions all across this great nation. God, we also ask that you bless our national commander and hold him in your safe hands as he travels from legion to legion. Please bless him and guide him with words of unity, motivation, and leadership. Continue to guide our American Legion with a showing of hospitality as we welcome our national commander. Please bless this lunch as we extend our hands of fellowship. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's be seated. And you can recover or be casual. Very nice. National Commander LaCrozier, National Executive Committee members, Department of Georgia Commander and Executive members, District 10 Commander, Vice Commanders and District Executive Committee, Georgia District 11 Representative Ray Martinez, Mayor of Loganville Skip Bayless, distinguished guests from Georgia Department of Veteran Affairs, and other distinguished guests and fellow Legionnaires. On behalf of American Legion Post 233 officers, groups, members, and families, and the Ladies Auxiliary, I bid all welcome to our Legion home. It's indeed an honor that you have chosen our post for lunch and to have a nice social gathering in this setting. I want to thank our advanced staff under Crystal Wilson and our volunteers in the Ladies Auxiliary for the preparations of our meal that you're going to partake of today. And I know that it will be a treat of good comfort food, as we say down here. I would like to thank the law enforcement especially and the American Legion Riders for their support in enabling a safe journey from Monroe to our post. We're always appreciative of our law enforcement and what they do in support of our activities today, for the more somber escorts of funerals, and for support of our annual Ride for America on Memorial Day. So before inviting our District 10 Commander to the podium, I now invite our past post commander and author in residence, Tom Williams, to share with you some brief insights into what we do here at our post.
Thank you, Commander. You've all been greeted, so I'm just going to start with all y'all. At the beginning of 2020, our post, like a lot of posts around the country, was sort of still basking in the afterglow of the 100th anniversary of the American Legion. We were looking forward to another year of bingo, hosting dances, having ROTC events, and generally working in our community the way we had for the past 70 years. The pandemic spring changed everything. We were naive, but of course we didn't know that then. That's how naive works. You don't know until later. Like everyone, we closed our doors here at the Post for what turned out to be a very, very long 2 weeks. Unlike many posts around us, we were fortunate enough to have this huge space. And that meant that we could reopen once the governor put in place the social distancing and we could start to have bingo again. We were also able to offer this space for funerals and wakes, and there were a lot of them. And it became a very sought after space here in our town. Speaking of naive, if you'd asked me that summer when I took over as the post commander, I would have told you I had a firm grasp on what homeless veterans looked like. I'd served at a lot of VA stand downs. And my image of a homeless veteran, like many, was probably a scruffy fella in an old field jacket. By late autumn of 2020, we were starting to see what I considered sentinel cases of a very different kind of homeless veteran. These were younger, they were often female, and many times they had children in tow. These were global war on terrorism veterans. Let's face it, they were kids. They got out of the service, they secured some entry-level job. It let them pay the bills, but only just. They were U.S. military veterans. We trained them to be self-reliant. When the leading edges of the COVID economy killed many of their jobs, they weren't used to idling. When they couldn't pay their rent, they didn't lean on any eviction moratorium. They moved into hotels, figuring they would find something else. And then they exhausted their savings. And then they moved into their cars. Most of them had seen worse. At the beginning of 2021, we were no longer naive. We were wide-eyed, and we were resolute. We limited the scope of our direct assistance here at the Post to veterans, something that hadn't been done in 70 years. By that time, we were housing and feeding several veterans in a local motel, including some families. And where we could, we were helping to pay tickets for people that needed to go home to families. We were reaching out to other posts and finding out that many were simply turning homeless veterans away because they didn't have the money to help. We said, send them here. Some posts even bragged that they paid for Ubers to send people to us to help. We started a gift cards for veterans program, and we started collecting gift cards from local restaurants and from the community to help offset our food costs. As we were working, though, we began to see a troubling trend in the housing market. The generation of baby boomers was retiring in the pandemic, and they were downsizing, and their houses were full of equity, and they had cash. All of that pressure down on the housing market meant that no one was moving up. The eviction moratorium also meant that landlords needed to make more money from renters who could pay. So at the same time in our country, housing prices skyrocketed and rents skyrocketed, and rental requirements changed as well. Even modest people with degrees and efforts couldn't find housing, and they turned to assistance. Here at Post 233, we doubled down. The mayor at the time told me that there were groups of veterans and other people sleeping in their cars up here at the Walmart parking lot. And we partnered with local churches and student groups, and they created car kits. We just had bags, and they had toiletries, and they had things you might need if you were living in your car. We were trying to ease the burden wherever we could. Our caseworkers were all volunteers, untrained but caring and earnest. By the end of 2021, ladies and gentlemen, the VA and our pillar was ruling our days and nights. As a Legion, we were housing and feeding over 20 veterans, including families at any one time. Our auxiliary riders and SAL were simply amazing. In addition to providing money and help with those things, they kept our name out in the community and kept our community efforts going. We were a bunch of old veterans. We were tired, we were burned out, but we were dedicated. It was, in a word, unsustainable. In July of 2022, as I stepped down from the post as the post commander to go focus on my company and my employees, the incoming commander and executive board partnered with Operation Rally Point. They're a local veterans charity run by one of our members, himself an infantryman who spent some quality time in Baghdad and other places. This partnership allowed our post to stay in the fight, but offload a lot of the day-to-day workload and triage of case management. Every month, since I stepped down, this post has provided a substantial sum of money to the cause, and we've monitored how it's used. After my time as commander here, I joined the board of directors there, where I still serve today. The work of helping homeless veterans merge back into the lives enjoyed by their countrymen, the countrymen they served, is sometimes messy. It's often difficult. It's always rewarding. Many of the young veterans we've helped, especially those in the early days, have reached back out to tell us they're now in permanent housing. And with our help, they found jobs. And with the programs at the VA, they found their way. Many of them have come back and donated to the program. I'm here today to tell you that since late in 2020, some back of the napkin math will tell you that the family at this post, the humble families of this post, have raised and contributed over $450,000 directly to the housing and feeding of homeless veterans. We're helping bridge them over until better days arrive. President Truman once said, "It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit." The members of this post have lived that motto through thick and thin. Of course, that man was also fond of saying, "The buck stops here." Commander.
Thank you, Tom. That was his finance officer during that time. It was like, we lost our minds. And yet we've survived. And we continue to do what we know is the right thing for those that really need the help. And they can't get it right away. And anyway, we're glad we did it, and we're happy that we are continuing to do this. And we'll welcome any donations that you have that you want to give to the program. Yeah, it's been a hard road to hoe, as you say, for the post, but it was one that we believe in strongly, and we don't want to see veterans out on the street and with their families living in cars. That's not right. So let me put my glasses back on and actually introduce a couple of other people before I turn it over to our district commander here at the table. She's not in the program or anything. Where are you, Cheryl? Jerry, where are you? Oh, you're sitting back there. Jerry Krause is back here with our Quilts of Valor. She comes to every once in a while. She stand up so you can see. Thank you very much. She's a special person here. She brings recognition to their goal is to be sure that every veteran has a covering of love with a quilt. We have from up here at the table, we have from the veterans of our Veterans Affairs from the state of Georgia, Gerald Wright. Would you please stand so they know who you are? And later on, you may be query. I met her at when we had our last gathering over at Sonesta, and it was really nice to have you and great to meet you there. I would like to invite our district commander, Ricky Blah, to introduce other district officers who are present and to introduce our Department of Georgia commander. Again, thank you all for being here, and I know when we get to lunch, you'll enjoy it.
I'd just like to say thanks everybody for making this day, making these trips everywhere. We're doing a great job at it. I cannot say how much I appreciate the American Legion Riders. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are doing an excellent job. I can also say to our police department in Monroe and Walton County and Libertyville, awesome job. I'd like to introduce my district officers. I got my senior vice here today, Mr. Carl Fisher. I've got the 10th District Finance Officer, Wayne Brown. And I've got our ALR Director for the 10th District, Robert Wilson. And at this time, I'm going to introduce our State Department Commander, Mr. Jim Fultz.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is past 12. First of all, I'd like to thank the 10th District and Post 233 for hosting this lesson for our National Commander. He's here to meet the troops and talk to the troops. He's not here on a membership visit. Although we know where we are in membership, he's not here on a membership visit. His main focus here is to come and meet the troops. And that's what we want to do today. Enjoy ourselves. Thanks again for everybody who participated in making this happen. And I too want to a special thanks to the sheriffs and police who escorted you today, I feel like President Trump in the motorcade. We didn't stop for nothing. Any riders, we're talking about more later. Let me introduce some of my staff, my immediate staff that works for the department while we're here, and try to start off in as much order as I can. First of all, we have somebody here who was a past department commander. He also was a national vice commander for the American Legion. He's here with us today, Mr. Mark Shreve. And my staff is with me today. I have one of the vice commanders, Mr. Tommy Pinkney. Vice Commander Gary Ely. Vice Commander James Felton. I got past department commander, my chief of staff and best friend, Melvin Weaver. Staff Judge Advocate, Tony Probst. I got my historian, Tommy Hatton, who's here with me. Chief Sergeant at Arms, J.B. Frazier, where are you? Another Sergeant at Arms, Howard Musgrove. And we got some district commanders here too. Service Officer, Tangela Morgan Williams, where are you, Tangela? That's you, Service Officer. And we got a few district commanders here. Robert Russell from the 6th District, I saw somewhere. Where are you, Robert? Thomasina Sandlin from the 11th District. Craig Rowan from the 3rd District. He's back there. And of course, your own Ricky Ball from the 10th District, he's here. Somebody from my finance committee who is here is Bob Sykes. From the table up here until my right, the chaplain of the Post 233, the chaplain? Yes, sir.
Stan Mullen.
Dan Mullen. And we've got Miss Gabrielle Monette. She is the Riders Director. Now, having said that, she's got 3 of her assistant directors here too that's on board today. One of the assistant directors is also the ALR chairman on our committee, and that's Mr. Darrell Mercer. Stand up. Sydney, where are you? Assistant ALR director. And the last assistant ALR director here is none other than, I have to introduce her as my wife, Thea Foltz. From my left table, first one we have there is the Sons of America, alternate NEC for our department, detachment, Jason Robbins. Next to him is the alternate NEC for the department, Mr. Randy Goodman. Now, we have a special guest here, you know, who is our national commander, Mr. James A. Corsair. He is here. And I'm going to introduce him, or have the alternate NEC introduce him just a little later, so I don't want to say any more about him. But I do want to introduce something that I normally do last, but I'm going to do it now. We have somebody who rides with the national commander all year. And that's, we call him the aide to the national commander. He rides with him, the national commander, I'm told, out of 365 days a year, I'm told he's away from home 340 of them. And his aide has to go right along with him. I sometimes wonder, how can you guys do that? You guys stay away from home the whole year. But his aide goes with him. He picks, the national commander picks his aide. A little story about his aide. His aide is also, right now, the current adjutant of the state of Connecticut. He's the adjutant, state of Connecticut. Of course, he's on loan to our national commander. Not only is he the adjutant of the state of Connecticut, he doesn't live there. He's moved to Florida. So he go, how do you do it? Right? But anyway, the aide to the national commander, Mr. Bush Henson. We're going to break a little bit from what we're doing on the program, and we're going to have lunch there. And after lunch, we're going to come back, and we're going to have a presentation and speech by Nancy Command, the introduction. But first, before we do that, we're gonna have lunch, eat a little bit, and then we'll come back and finish up our program. Could we have our chaplain say the blessing over our meal? Uncover.
Oh, yes, he is.
You know, this is nothing unusual for me, because I'm chaplain of the Sons and the Legion and the Riders, so I usually say my private prayers when we meet. So I did mention the blessing of the food in my opening prayer, but let's bow our heads again and we'll say another little short prayer. Heavenly Father, come back to you again today to ask that you bless this food to the nourishment of our body and continue us with the showing of fellowship and the hand that we hold close to you, and bless us as we continue through this service. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Post Commander? You got maybe seated?
If you would please, let's have the head table, please go and get to the line up there. They're going to serve you. And we have two different types of soup. And we have egg salad sandwich and chicken salad sandwich, I think. This is comfort food time now. It's like, okay? So I think we have enough to feed the multitudes, although it's not fish and loaves. So head table, if you would please start us on our journey to the chow line. Well, whichever way you want this. And if you're sitting up here in the front, if you're like at one of these buffet tables here, if you can kind of go up there and join them at that. Just like being in the town hall, kind of.
Okay.
Make yourself at home. This is your home.
Make yourself at home. Get all the food you can.
That's what you said. You just put it, make your way out. Whatever they want to call you.
Tom, great job. I need to use your speechwriter, which I guess is you.
Hey, y'all are both Air Force, by the way.
There we go.
That's the.
Okay, don't wait for your leaves here. So glad you're here. Kathy, you good?
Part of the drawdown?
Well, when I went through the list, I do my job, and I got mine. I went to the private sector and started my own company.
Excellent. Good to see you. No, next week. Great job as usual. Always love photo your comments. I still have your comments
Thank you.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I came straight from the Capitol. We had a short session today. I was so blessed. I completed this yesterday, and I'm back on veterans. Josh is still in jail. So I don't think nothing's changed. We might have added maybe one or two older folks. Nothing's changed, but I'm saying.
That's usually what the son for me. So people come back Good, how are you, dear?
I know, I heard some of it. I was like,
As far as I understand, you can't get on the phone.
you know, I got used to talking phone calls at 1 in the morning. I want y'all to understand, y'all see Tommy right now. You don't have no bullets, y'all won't see him. He'll be missing in action. No, I don't know where he is with me. Of course, I know where I'm putting him.
Don't mess with that cake. Got a voice.
I get it.
Thank you, sir.
We're an open place. So we invite everybody.
Once I did,
They haven't called me about my referral. The referral's in, it's just trying to get them to call me. I'm gonna have to call them.
I always tell people, once y'all have a membership raffle, just put all the money for the membership. Yeah. The whole idea is I pay all the dues. This is the local pay. I just wish they still pay all the I pay all them. One of my brothers paid his own this year.
Here we go. Okay, now I'm gonna
Pay my son.
you're up.
I got to book the camera.
No, I got you.
Out of the picture.
But I don't have but I do like to see a pop from the circle. Yeah, I'm glad you do. I'm going to cut it down. Yeah, I did.
If you come to me and talk to me,
But I know we need it. So somebody, you know, we got to try to catch up with one post in our district. They always get their stuff together and more. So they, you know. No, I'm just
good? I need it now.
Every time I see anybody I want to do this now. Get back. Yeah. Somebody else in the mind. I'll never come to I used to get my past department all the time. Yeah, you spit all your past That's my goal. But when you get up there, you know, I always just say, you know, blame it on my Yeah, get up. That's the easy way to do it. I didn't think about it. Your weather's a bad junior back then. The party Oh, several times. You ain't gotta worry about me. I ain't doing it. Yeah, I did 3.
But you and Jerry are cousins.
Like I told you, buddy. Yeah, and he needed credit. You do it so often. After my 3rd year, they could have nominated Daffy Duck. I seconded and voted for him. I couldn't do it. I told Tom I couldn't do it. Yeah, you gotta go one way. I'm sorry. You really didn't have to go be the father.
That's true.
Man, you gonna come back to be Jim? No, no. No, man. They gonna have whoever they have, it'll be all right. Because it won't be me. I'm at an elk lodge, right? Bring it in a post. And I look on the wall and get some picture of there. Brother, that's Tommy. So when I see, yes, sir. When I look at him, I'm going to say, moo.
You guys good?
I'm not.
Sure? Everybody good? Dessert? I'm fine.
I know. I had something before.
I have a joke around here.
Nope. One good man, we get green bean. Just string it. Somebody had it by me from the belly. Oh, I know. But y'all had to 27. Should be y'all last. They're pretty good. I'm sorry.
We still have patches in our yard that have snow ice. That's right.
That was my last week's
A friend of mine who sent a paper.
This is real. And I got a degree in there, right? There's something that I don't even get out my pajamas. I mean, okay, you got any kids today? No.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, this was scary.
And that's because I want to be right.
Okay. I got a double shot I got to go get.
Probably you get that Winnebago.
Yeah, they might help. Go right next door here. What's next door?
It wouldn't bother me. I just want to like a snake in here around. Price to try and buy this and you sell it just
yeah, that's why I never have a problem with this. Yes. See, that's how I guess you didn't come to buy my house. I said, you might have to back on the 31st. Well, I'm paying for every month. I have to pay that one. Undo it.
This post used to own all the property, all the way back to Maxie Price. And on both sides of the street. Bobby Boss personally owned it. He sold this part. Part of the shop there. We had 7 ball fields were broken down here years ago, and now we sold that to or gave that to the county. Oh no! We have our ball fields down 81 right now. Maxie Price tried to buy it. We ended up having to sue them. The county wasn't supposed to sell that commercial people. We went through hell on that 6 or 7 years.
See, and that's, you know, that's just
talk me into going to 6 because they need more help than they're supposed to.
I can tell you right now.
I'll never want to grow some halfway.
Now that I know that, I can look at his face.
Charlie got his young ass stop. You got Charlie.
You got Joey. Joey back me up.
Because now I know that I'm fine.
Oh yeah.
He knew how to motivate.
He knew how to talk to me.
He did his job. Now, you had an event like this, Charlie was here.
Yeah.
He was always in
Ladies and gentlemen, I have this Word from our events person, Crystal Wilson, that if you would like seconds, then seconds are available. So help yourself. I hope you enjoyed the meal. They've been making it in-house here. Thank you very much. Also, I will embarrass him. Where is he? Brandon, where did he go? He stepped out from that. The person that runs the Operation Rally Point, where we have teamed up to spend all of our funds, he's sitting right here in front of me, is Brandon Watts. Stand up, Brandon, so they know who you are, so they can applaud your efforts. Brandon is wide open at all times. And his other partner crying there is our BSO, Mike Madsen. He kind of supervises and puts, there's Mike right there. He keeps Brandon on a leash when necessary. Glad you're here.
Karen, you understand? Need a favor.
And this place also has 2 buildings down the back here. One for the and also a Seeking that building.
Y'all set me on spot, dude.
I learned what they are on TC alone. That's how it's going. 1,800 stuff. I'm in charge. Are you in charge? Bobby passed away. Just let it all. Bobby used to like the National Commander to come visit, and he would hold membership until the National Commander came in, and he'd bring a stack of membership in like this. He loved to show off.
That's fine. They gave me time with them.
Well, this post broke down in 52.
You're in charge of a lot. Everybody in that bird.
Well, there's just been one other guy who age one.
I mean, talk about last year. Then he was Vietnam. Anyway.
It's time. I like that.
Yeah. He went and bought. They did all the planned everything himself, started building himself.
I get it.
And it was a big build. It wasn't that period over there. It used to be a doctor's office.
I can't get folks to the rest.
I remember one time,
They want to get ready.
one time Bobby's wife got this back. Her car broke down, and he wouldn't buy her another. It was wonderful. I asked him one time how much it was worth, and he said, I don't know. You don't need to know. But I heard it was several million. His dad was a dairy farm. Seriously, he had both sides of this road all the way down to Bernals. He made plenty of money when he started selling. But he did end up buying his wife a cat.
I can mix that What do I say?
What do I say?
In an army of instrument isn't working.
Just hit it. Same with AV.
What they carry? Yeah. I said, well, I won't how much the army said it's not dribbling hydraulic fluid. No, you know exactly. He screamed exactly. You heard him.
Boy, you made a miracle. Amazing. You'll make money for you.
Right.
Yeah, you just keep it.
I always find it amazing how they just so like a patch. Then we got to go back together.
They got them money.
Go back to where it's supposed to be.
One missing
Not one missing.
we can still get
That's all I'm gonna
I show up and I go, hey, Sergeant Pittman, how's it going? What can I get you?
No. Ain't even gonna say nothing. I got
Nice. Good to see you.
Yeah, they gonna get money.
Thanks,
You got to stay.
Bring it up to the bridge.
My granddaughter's So now whenever they call me, I'm fine. I'm sitting everybody's asleep.
This is actually work. This is actually work.
I don't know. Spell check, no.
That's not what I meant to say.
That chocolate for him, is that what you have?
Yo, $4,000 upside down when she walk out the door. Not even, they cannot even count the financing. Oh, they got me worse than that.
So now I have to like have him look at it.
I went there, me and my wife get down to the
I hate to stop it, and that's one of the times you phone me, and I'm like, I can't do this. You just put the whole out there. I'm like, okay.
They just took my car. They ain't paid me nothing over. Just took my car. Needless to say, they were smiling all the way with me off of there.
Give me something to kind of wake you up.
And then I have to go do something, come back, I can still go right back to it. It's like right there.
It's right in
I would do that. Because I would
It's just now she's there, and then you sort it by name. It's like, it's still
You'll get back to me.
I'm gonna buy another one, but it's gonna be a settlement. No. According to how big the settlement is, what it is. I'm monitoring. Look, they sent me my time for the court bill. No, see, we did the settlement. I don't like when I'm saying I'm talking to you. I have a witness, somebody you never get your money back.
But maybe not. But if I needed it today.
I hear it fall.
Because you know we share a wall. I know when he's stressed because I
He came last night.
Why am I right? I gotta look. I hate letting the USA go, but I got to. They started to just they get to the point where they're not even in a competition with us. Yeah, I'm gonna look at them because I say, man, you pay $3,000 something. Yeah,
on my screen.
USA.
On my computer.
They say you can beat that. I can find you somebody cheaper than this. And I think I'm finna go with it because my $200 a month. Oh, they sound cheap. Yeah, they were cheap. Now they don't went up, man. I'm gonna start searching this next week. About different insurance. Start searching. I like this service. They dedicated us. But man, I ain't gonna pay all that money insurance. Oh yeah, they do a good job. But now they used to because when the air conditioner messed up in the house. Bro.
And the thing about it is, and I told you, and then look, after we talked to you, I called him and I said,
If everybody would take the seats, we're gonna get started with the program again. Just continue to eat, enjoy your meal.
What you gotta do? I got
Yeah, this time I want to bring up the alternate NEC for our National Alternate Executive Committee, and I want to bring him up for the purpose of introducing our guest speaker today and our guest, and also tell you a little bit about his special program. Now I want to start this program a little earlier because Randy tends to get a little long-winded sometimes, so I want to give him enough time to do this. And not what you got, Steve. So without any further ado, let me introduce the alternate executive committee man, Randy Goodman.
I'm all with it. You know, most of you who know me, you know that I'm always very brief. Yeah. And I intend to do the same today. So I'll stick with my usual self. Before I introduce our national commander, and this is a special day for me as well, because I've learned so much about what this post is doing in the community, and I was aware of your activities long before now, but you have increased your activity and involvement 100-fold, and for the American Legion, that's the epitome of what our post should be doing. Finding ways to support the community, not only veterans and their families, but looking at the community as a whole. And you all do that in the best way possible. And I'm so impressed at what you do. You should be impressed with yourselves. I talked to one of your new members just a few minutes ago that had visited several posts and found his way here. And he said, I have a reason now to be joyous about the American Legion, and he's going to start getting involved. And the young man is back in the corner. Stand up and let everybody know who you are. The National Commander Special Project this year continues to be the Veterans and Children Foundation. And I'd just like to briefly, as I always do, give you some information concerning our Veterans and Children Foundation. We simply call it VCF. And you know in the American Legion, we use acronyms all the time. SAL, ALR, you got it. But VCF should stick to your mind. We want VCF, when you leave here today, think VCF, and think VCF again, and then VCF, Veterans and Children Foundation. The two key areas of the VCF Foundation: veterans and children. On the veteran side, we're raising money to train service officers around the nation. We have one service officer here with us this afternoon, and we have the commissioner of the State Department of Veteran Service, who has over 100 service officers under her umbrella. And those service officers help our veterans within the state of Georgia apply and receive benefits they're entitled to. And that is the most critical role that we play in the American Legion, to help families survive. And the other one is children. When a veteran's family with children are in distress and need assistance, we have a grant program that can assist. And in our efforts to make sure that our Veterans and Children Foundation is solvent, we've embarked on a campaign to raise $25 million over the next 6 or 7 years. And know we can do it because we have help from the American Legion Riders. The American Legion Riders already proved that when they set out to do something, it's going to get done. After 9/11, the American Legion vowed to send the children of our fallen to college. The American Legion Riders stood beside us and said, we'll make sure it happens. And right now, the fund is solvent. We have over $17 million in the fund because we have convinced Congress to take over that responsibility. However, we've expanded the program to include those children of veterans that have a 50% or greater VA disability rating. And the qualifications extend up to age 35 for the child. And they have over 6 years to use it. A benefit through the Legacy Scholarship. And thanks to our American Legion Riders, that fund is solvent. And so join me in saying thank you to DOG ALR. Please stand. And after the commander speaks, I would hope that you will want to donate to our Veterans and Children Foundation. We will accept checks, cash, Venmos, is that? Cash out. This morning, we were in Monroe, and we raised 1,800 and, let me tell you correctly, $1,830 this morning doing just a meet and greet. So I hope that you are generous this afternoon for the Commander's Project, the Veterans and Children Foundation. Let us get on to our introduction. Attention. James A. LaCourciere, Jr. was elected National Commander of the nation's largest veterans organization on August 29, 2024 in New Orleans, Louisiana, during the American Legion's 105th National Convention. An Air Force veteran. LaCourciere has been a long-time field representative for the American Legion Department of Connecticut's Soldiers, Sailors, and Marine Fund, which assists veterans and their families. LaCourciere has held many leadership positions in the American Legion Post, Department, and our National Law Office. He's a member of American Legion Post 91 in Massauk, Connecticut. He has also served as National Vice Commander, Connecticut State Commander, and Chairman of the organization's National Legislative Commission. LaCourciere is married to his wife Lisa and has 2 children, Patrick and Megan, and 3 stepchildren, Jason, Colleen, and late Jonathan. Born to a military family in Honolulu, and I learned last night it wasn't Alaska, it's Hawaii. LaCourciere attended Mountville High School, where he played junior varsity football, and varsity track. As National Commander, LaCourciere is strongly committed to raising awareness for the American Legion's Be the One efforts to prevent veteran suicide. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your National Commander, Mr. James LaCourciere.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. It truly is a great honor and privilege to be here in Post 233. But before I go on, can we all please give the kitchen staff and all the workers a And I too would like to personally introduce my aide, Harry Bush Hanson, to everybody. He does an awful lot for me behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize and everything. He handles a lot. Yeah. Go ahead. He deserves that because I mean he catches a lot of my emails and things like that. You know, he has the authority from me to go ahead and respond to them. You know, in a timely manner if I'm tied up with something. He keeps me on track and keeps me focused. The only thing he did a few weeks prior to being elected in New Orleans and everything, he drew the line in the sand and he made it clear that he was not going to do my laundry. So that I'm starting to do myself. But I did want to clarify that to this day, he legally is still the department adjutant for Department of Connecticut. We do have a acting adjutant in Connecticut right now. Who's our department commander last year. So Butch still handles a lot of the affairs while we're on the road and everything. And to let everybody also know, tie in that piece of the puzzle that you heard from your department commander, where he mentioned that Butch is adjutant for Connecticut, but now he's legally a resident of Florida. 2 weeks prior to us going to New Orleans, him and his wife formally moved to Boca Raton, Florida and everything. So his wife's down there in Florida while they're waiting for their house to get built and everything. So I guess I'm doing my due diligence to house their homeless veterans. But no, it truly is great to walk into a post home and actually see fantastic turnout and everything. And be able to have the opportunity to talk with everybody and to break bread as a family. Because we truly are a family. And I want to thank this post for beautiful post home you have. I took a few moments earlier. I checked out your grounds and everything. You guys maximized the use of your grounds. Absolutely fantastic. You can see where you're involved in the community, which is something I ask everybody to do. We have 14,000 plus posts throughout our great nation and everything. And I ask all the posts to please go on beyond the four walls of your post home and let everybody know who and what the American Legion truly is all about. And with knowing what we're all about, I'm asking everybody to keep it in your mind at all times. Our number one mission. Number one mission is be the one. Be the one to save the life of the veteran, of their child, of their spouse, of that stranger in the community you have not yet met. Together, we can destigmatize mental health. Let them know that it is okay to not be okay, because brother and sister, I will remain on your side until I know for certain you are okay. I will not leave you. Whether it's by telephone or in person, preferably in person. I've had, if we sit back and get a call, if you keep on the phone as long as possible, if they're drivable, while you got them on the phone, start making headway towards them. Personal contact, that direct communication. And the reason I encourage that, is I'm a very direct and hands-on person. But I'm also very compassionate. And I carry everything right here in my heart. As we all do. That's why we do what we do today. That's why we're all here. That's why we give back to the community and the community gives back to us. What I mean by that is, to me, keeping it in layman's terms, our Be the One mission and how we can save lives, one life at a time, is through compassion, commitment, and heart. Think about it. Our senses are tied to our heart, correct? Because when the heart stops, the senses stop. What I mean by that, to break it down to layman's terms even further, is I can either look at you or I can see you. I can either hear you or I can listen to you. I can either talk to you or I can speak to you. And when you think about that, it makes a huge difference. Because if I'm only looking at you and not really seeing you, I'm going to miss something. If I'm just talking to you, I'm basically talking for myself and not talking to you. I need to be able to speak to you clearly, legibly, compassionately. seeing, hearing, and speaking. The individual you're dealing with at the time, they can hear, see, and feel that. Now that you have their trust and their confidence, you should be able to, when the time is right, ask them the tough questions. Have you thought about, or are you thinking about hurting yourself? Have you thought about, have you dreamt about, or are you thinking about committing suicide? Don't just sit back and say, how are you feeling today? Are you okay? Because usually when you ask those simple questions, you get, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, it's okay. Through compassion, sincerity, and heart, they will open up to you. They will open up to you. Stay with them. Make sure they are okay. Don't let them be alone if you feel something is wrong. That is our number one mission. 2.5 years ago, the American Legion came up with the Be the One as our number one mission. Because as we all know in this room here, for years we kept hearing 22. 22 a day. 22 a day. 2.5 years ago, the American Legion realized 22 a day was a number that wasn't true 365 days of the year. At that time, the veteran suicide rate was 17 to 26 per day. Saving one life at a time. That's how we came up with Be the One. Be the one. Be there for the next person. My primary focus during the course of this year is on the quality of life. The quality of life for all of our veterans and their families. In our travels, I want to get into the military installations, including the Guard and Reservists. I want to get into the VA hospitals, including the C-Box and the clinics. I want to be able to have town halls when and wherever possible. The reason I want all the variables is I can go any place I want and I can pretty much speak with a commandant, a director, a commissioner. I can speak with the ones that call the shots. That's the one who give me one side of the story. Where are we going to get the real story? Our enlisted, our families, our patients, and yes, we still want to hear from the leadership of the agencies and the facilities and everything. Put the two pieces together, now we have the real picture. And that goes years back with the American Legion family when we sat back and we had a system we're saving. We're really starting to push those efforts again to really get into more and more VA facilities. Truly see what's really going on. Because we will not allow what happened years back in Phoenix ever happen again here in the United States of America. So with the Be the One mission and my focus on the quality of life for our veterans and the families, that all actually ties in with a few years back when I coined my secondary and personal theme based on love. My love for the American Legion family. My love for the great United States of America. And the love I talk about is LUV, which is loyalty, unity, and valor. And that is something we all carry right here. And we continue showing that on a day-to-day basis by continuing to serve our great organization and the great United States of America. In closing, you know that everybody here knows that we just passed and the President just signed it, the Elizabeth Dole Act, correct? Yeah. I was very adamant, and the reason why you guys kept getting those the legislative action alerts every couple of days, and I know I had people saying, well, why am I getting this every couple of days? I met with our legislative staff along with my aide Butch, and I put my foot down a while back. During our second trip, we've been in D.C. twice already this year. We're getting ready to make our third trip into the inauguration. But the second time that I made it very clear, because I know how Congress works and how bills operate through Congress. I was very adamant to get the Elizabeth Dole Act through the 118th Congress. Just for those who do not know, if we waited for the 119th Congress, we would have had to start all over again. The bill would have been pulled, we'd have to wait for the first reading on the floor again. That could have maybe, minimum, taken another 2 or 3 years. We together, using our voices and standing shoulder to shoulder with the other veteran service organizations, we got it across the finish line. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now I ask for your help again. You will not see legislative action alerts on it. But you hear about it, but you won't see action alerts because we don't have a resolution on it because we can't. And that's with the NDAA. Tell Congress we have a massive wound out there. A itty bitty butterfly Band-Aid does not stop a large wound with these CRs. Contact your legislators now. Keep hounding them. Don't wait till March when we're facing another deadline date. Let's tell Congress together, pass the damn budget. God bless each and every one of us. Thank you. While I still have the microphone before the commander strips it from me, if I can have the post commander join me. Commander, we met briefly today, but once we pull out here, my journeys, have to carry on forward, and who knows when I'll see you again. So just so you don't forget my face, there's a picture there for your post.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll put it up.
All right. I also personalized my license plate for you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
Oh, just so you can continue signing checks. The 990s, don't run out the CPRs and all the other good stuff. Just ready, pen for you, fresh, nice flowing ink.
Oh my. Thank you very much.
And my challenge card for you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much already. Thank you, Mayor.
Be in touch.
Thank you so much, Commander. Let's give it let's give Commander another round of applause. And I'm not sure if we have anybody else who want to make any speeches. I know we got Commissioner Ross from the Georgia Department of Veterans. He might want to come up and say a few words, or the mayor. It's your time.
Yeah, Skip and Ray.
Commissioner Ross.
That's Ray Martinez. You have the mic.
No, he's coming up.
Okay.
Just okay. Need any help? So much.
You can have the mic if you want, Congressman.
I just got promoted. Commander Tommy Congressman. Stay all right.
We'll expect a donation.
Thank you so much. Commander, thank you for being here, the great state of Georgia.
Thank you, sir.
I think you brought some cold weather with you, didn't you? Ray Martinez is my district state representative, District 111. Thank you, Commissioner Ross, for coming all the way from the Capitol to be here. It means a lot. It means a lot to our post for you to be here. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commander, can you stand up for me?
You need to move over to this side.
Don't sign anything.
No.
I have a pen if you need.
Commander, on behalf of thousands of veterans here in our state, House Veteran Committee Chair Josh Bonner, and our great Governor Brian Kemp, I present you this flag, state of Georgia. This is to certify that the accompanying state Georgia flag was flown above our great capital, the state of Georgia, December 27, 2024, in honor of Commander James A. Lacourciere. I'm Latino, so you gotta, that coursier, you're gonna work on that. That coursier. All right. In recognition of his great dedicated service to our nation, Brian Kemp, and of course our whole body. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, we got a picture. Show the flag, right?
Yes, yes.
That's important. All right, I won't step on. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. And, Mayor Skip Allow.
And Mr. Mayor Skip.
Thank you, man.
I don't know what you forget.
Oh, that way. Did I butcher it that bad?
I'm not gonna let you talk here.
Everybody here, we certainly appreciate you being in Loganville, and we thank you for that. We're a small country town that's growing like crazy. And some people have even mentioned traffic to me over the last few months. And I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but anyway, that said, that comes with growth. But the Legion has been such an integral part of our city. Many of you from out of town don't know this, but years ago, they donated to the city our first trash truck when the city did not have enough money to buy one. Wow. Yeah, we're still in that boat, but anyway, that's it. And we have shared events. We shared Ride for America. We've shared a lot of the events that we have every summer downtown. Christmas parade, a lot of the things we do, we join together and do it together, which makes it a lot more fun. And the reason I went back to look and get Randy's name is I have a proclamation here for James. I learned a long time ago, the most important thing that you and I own is your name. And I'm not going to butcher James' name. I want to tell you that. It's that important. But we do recognition and proclamations all the time, and you can see this. Pretty impressive, right? Come on, help me out here. Randy, the briefest of all of our speakers today, covered about 90% of what's in this proclamation. And I'm not going to repeat it again because we are out to lunch and we are on a schedule. But we just want you, James, to know that we appreciate you coming to Loganville. I hope you'll remember us. He and I exchanged challenge pins early in the day, and I gave him a challenge pin for Loganville's mayor's office. And he gave me his, and it was beautiful. And I shared with him if he or one of his relatives, or grandkids, or great-grandkids, or great-great-grandkids, or great-great-great-grandkids, hang on to that coin for 500 years, it may be worth something. So, I just wanted to put him in the right frame of mind. But, I don't know what the price of, what do they call that, pot metal? If that's going to go way up or not. But if it does, we're in luck. But anyway, I would just like to conclude, please. Therefore, after all these things that Randy said about James's wife and kids and getting elected in New Orleans, I guess Randy and I used the same Google page, I guess. The city of Loganville recognizes Mr. James A. LaCoursa. Say it for me. Help me.
You're
close enough?
You're a lot closer than Randy.
I practiced, but I'm not very good at it. And thank him for all his hard work, and only hope that he is blessed in all he does. Presented on this date, January the 17th, 2025, Skip Lyles, Mayor.
Absolutely. That's our story. We're sticking to it.
And I also want to add, I did this when we had a retirement service for our police officers. We had a couple of police officers retiring. And I wasn't part of the presentation. Our police chief was. But at the end, I asked if I could just have a few seconds. And he granted it, although I did hear words from the audience. Oh God, what are we gonna have now? What's he gonna say now? I do have a reputation. It's not for being brief like Randy is. But, I just took a minute to thank the families of those police officers. And I would do the same thing with our Freedom Riders, our Legionnaires, our commander, national commander. Never forget your family. They're behind you. And days when you want to do something else, they wanted to do something else months ago. But the police officer shared with me, a couple of the wives came up later and says, you know, nobody's ever said that. But it's so true. And my goal as mayor, as it relates to public safety, is that every first responder comes home at night, alive and well. And whatever it costs, it costs. And if the council won't support me, we'll do something different, we're going to make it happen. And I would say the same thing. Your family's important. You are important. Thank you for all you do. And Loganville appreciates you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I present our next speaker, when I was doing the introduction, I forgot somebody who's extremely important to the Legion. You know, the American Legion, we have a great support staff. We are family, and in addition to the American Legion, we have the ALA, the American Legion Auxiliary supporting us. We have the Sons of the American Legion, and we have the ALR, the American Legion Riders. We have representatives from all three here today, and one of them I forgot to introduce, and that's the ALA, American Legion Auxiliary President, Ms. Cheryl Ward.
Yeah.
Ms. Ross.
Yes. Well, thank you, Commander Foltz. I think that is the briefest introduction I've ever had, and probably the best. Right? For those of you who have ever heard me introduce, I appreciate that. National Commander, of course, here.
Thank you. All right.
Well, my family's from Louisiana, so you know, I have a little French spin on it. My mom's side of the family. I just appreciate being here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You know, when the American Legion calls, and of course when my friends from Operation Rally Point call and say, "Can you be here?" I'm here. And I know I can't top what State Representative Ray Martinez gave you from the governor, as well as our state flag. But I do want to just spend a couple of minutes talking about actually something that we spoke about before the luncheon. And that is what we're doing here in the state of Georgia. And so just so you know, not just veterans, their family members, our active duty reserve, Guard, DOD civilians, if you total kind of our military affiliated population, that's over 12% of Georgians. I don't think most folks realize what a large constituent base we are. And we work each and every day to take care of those individuals. And some of the things that we've done just recently within the department, I know this will definitely, for the post commander for 233 and the former post commander, we now have a homeless coordinator and are working across the state to make those connections to help our homeless veterans. For the first time ever, she produced a 33-page document of every homeless shelter she found throughout the state of Georgia. and is working now with the communities and will work, of course, we work with Operation Rally Point, but working to make sure that no veteran and their family members are ever homeless. And that is a big ask. Another thing we spoke about was mental and behavioral health. We all know that that is a crisis in our nation, in our state, and especially for our veterans. And we are blessed. The state of Georgia has given us $1 million, so we are now, it was released this week, giving out another $1 million to community-based organizations providing clinical services to military members, veterans, and their families. And so we have 2 providers, actually one's in North Georgia, and then the other 2, so 3 total. The other 2 are providing services across the state, be it in person down near Fort Stewart with the Cohen Clinic, or in the Cobb County area with Kennesaw State and the Ames Center, also doing that via telehealth. And so if you have somebody in crisis, we have folks funded by the state if they don't want to go to the VA or they can't get into a community-based organization right away. We are there to help them because we believe in being the one in suicide prevention. And that's probably one of the biggest programs that we are operating as a state. And real quickly, Ms. Shelly Ann Simpson, who's our Executive Director over Field Operations and Appeals. So Shelly. Our Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, Carrie Dyer. And the reason I mentioned Shelly is under her is our outreach team. And 2 key people that we've just added since July has been our homeless coordinator and our transition and employment coordinator. We all know that transitioning out of the military is difficult. That often ends in homelessness if you don't land kind of in the right spot in the right job and you have that support structure that you need like you had in the military service. So what's exciting is they work for Shelly along with our suicide prevention coordinator. And they have screened thousands upon thousands of veterans throughout the state, gotten them connected to these community organizations and these key partners within 24 hours. So that we can go upstream of a suicide and make a difference before somebody ever gets to the point where they're going to take their lives. So those folks fall under Shelly. Transition and employment is not just from the military, but also from incarceration. So they're working with individuals who are at risk and their families. That's a key area that we have in the department. And all of this has kind of coalesced in our whole mental and behavioral health push to take advantage of federal funds when we can. So we're the only state that for 3 years has gotten a VA grant to do suicide prevention. We do a lot of outreach, a lot of training. We've done that for the Legion, as well as we just got a suicide mortality review grant. And what I was sharing with the national commander, we just got 11 years worth of data on military and veteran suicide, and are digging through that so we can figure out what are those key indicators that will help us go forward to help prevent somebody committing suicide. So we're really excited about that work. And the other work we're excited about, which is why I introduced Carrie, is he's also in charge of where our offices go. Transitioning military, again, is that key spot where we need to make sure we are catching those folks as they get out in the military. We already have offices on Fort Moore and Fort Stewart, and just found out that by the end of this quarter, we will have one in Kings Bay and also at Fort Eisenhower. And we have offices right outside of the other military installations, but we truly are part of that TAP program and working side by side those transition managers to make sure they know what we have here in Georgia, how we can help, and the wonderful community organizations that we partner with, like the American Legion, to make sure all of our veterans and their families are taken care of. Because ultimately, we want to make this the state where they choose to make their home post-military service. That is our first and foremost goal, because we believe Georgia is a fantastic place to live, work, raise your family, and we want to make sure that our veterans and their families are taken care of. So thank you for your big part in doing that. Post 233 is a great example of being boots on the ground, hands and feet, making sure that our our fellow veterans are taken care of. So I appreciate you giving me just a few minutes. I apologize I took up Randy's brief time. And, thank y'all for having us today.
You know, I've had Commissioner out to speak to our group over the last couple of years. She's probably been there 3 or 4 times. And the first time that she came out, I introduced her. I had a long bio. It was 2 or 3 pages. And the next time she came out, she said, "Don't do that no more." so I didn't forget. Anyway, is there any more speakers or representatives here that need to come up here and speak? If not, it's time to see if we can collect some money for the National Commanders
Auxiliary.
BCR. Who?
Kathy. Our post auxiliary president.
Okay. Come on.
Kathy Hedges.
Good help, Daddy.
She's
got a big textbook.
She has a presentation.
That's why I told them to come on.
First of all, I want to thank our Auxiliary President Cheryl for making the trip from Smyrna dark and early this morning. I was very pleased to see her at 8 o'clock in Monroe. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Having your support means a lot. Today we're blessed. Everybody knows I'm the Poppy Lady currently, but it's because I love the history of Walton County. And we cannot, I already pinned our National Commander first thing this morning with a new Poppy, but today I'm blessed that I have a GAR sister, 5th line descendant of Melina Michael, that asked, our district commander suggested I get her here. Betty has something she would like to present to our national commander and President Cheryl.
Yeah, cousin. Yeah.
Sorry to get wrapped. Do you need help?
Yeah, it's her cousin. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please. So they can all hear you.
I'm a retired Walton County teacher, taught for 50 years. So I'm seldom at a loss for words, but I really didn't know I was going to do this in front of everybody. But, I'm so glad to see you. It's just been such a blessing. And I guess I just feel so honored to be able to represent Melina Michael's memory. She was known in our family as Cousin Melina. My great-grandmother, Elizabeth Fendora Michael, that was my great-grandmother. Her father and Melina's grandfather were brothers. And we're all descendants of the original Michael in America, who was Valentine Michael. And his wife was from Lafayette's family in France. So we have a wonderful heritage, and it's just wonderful for me to be able to represent the family of Melina Michael. And there were a lot of cousins. And back then, you know, we referred to everybody as cousin or aunt or uncle. I was born in 1943, but Melina passed away in 1944, so I never actually knew her. But I lived in the house with my grandmother, who lived to be 103, and she always referred to Cousin Melina. So, you know, I just always felt that I knew who she was. But I didn't know the wonderful thing that she did for a long time in my life. And I told somebody today that I don't think that she would have been the kind of person who wanted recognition for what she has done. But I think we need her recognition because it inspires us to do maybe some of the things that she was able to do. And I read a little thing, I don't know if I can remember exactly how it was, but it was a speech that a Canadian poet gave at Carnegie Hall in, I believe it was 1937. And he referred to Moana Michael. And he said that there were two symbols of America that would be taught in the schools for years to come. And that was about the American flag and the red poppy. And that the two people who would be associated with that was Betsy Ross and Moana Michael. So I can imagine that Moana, if she were still here, would be very honored and surprised, I guess, that she would be recognized. But I'm just thankful that for her life, and that it's very much of an honor to be descended from her. But I didn't know I was going to be able to do this today, but I have another cousin who is the same relation to Moana as I am, and she likes to do crafts. And I just brought these along. I didn't know who I was going to be presenting them to. But I can't remember everybody's name really well, but Cheryl, I'm going to give this to you because I understand you do a lot for the poppies. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm not too good at doing this. I was used to being in front of an audience of kindergarten and pre-K and all that. I'm okay with them, but you know.
We can act that way.
Y'all can help me out. Okay, and I can't pronounce your name either. And I don't know if you would want one of these, but I thought this one might suit you. Well, I'd say my cousin made them. And she gives them to a lot of people, and I just wanted to share them. Another picture.
All right. We're going to do a great photo. Okay. All four of us are both. Oh,
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
You didn't know your writer director was also a paparazzi.
Great shot there, Gabrielle.
Thank you for your patience while we did that. There is nobody that is so happy that the American Legion and the American Legion Auxiliary continue to go out in the community and share the story of the poppy. Betty absolutely loves to know what we have going on, and when Rick suggested that I get her here, I knew that she would thoroughly enjoy the day. Thank you. I actually do still live. I was born and raised in Good Hope, where Miss Moana was born, you know, and I live just not very far from the home place. And we do the Poppy Festival every year. And I'm in charge. I guess I put myself in charge of our little sign in Good Hope at the intersection of two major highways. I put a lot of things on my sign. You've probably seen it right up. Yeah. And but anyway, so I kind of have a reputation for that. But when we have our Poppy Festival, I always put the sign up for that. And we would invite you to come. It's usually in August to the Poppy Festival in Good Hope. And I just have to say this about one of our patriots right here. Can't remember your name. Brandon. Well, we have
a big flag at our city hall in Good Hope, which is usually attended, by the city council. But we also have one across from the general store in Good Hope. And actually, my husband was responsible for putting the first one up there. My husband was a Vietnam veteran who passed away this past year from acute myeloid leukemia, which possibly was from his service in Vietnam. So many soldiers give their lives on the battlefield, but a lot of our Vietnam soldiers and others as well have given their lives from the results of the service. And but my husband was very glad to serve our country and said he would do it again. But anyway, this young man back here took notice of our flag in front of the general store. And my husband didn't always keep it up like he was supposed to. But I mean, it really wasn't his responsibility in the first place. Somebody else was supposed to do it. But this young man noticed that the flag was getting rather faded and not looking very good. And he didn't know who was responsible, So he just went and got another flag and put it up. But he didn't know that Miss Kathy was in charge. She has, got the folks here to give a flag for the town of Good Hope. Yep. And she came and planted poppies around the flagpole. And I'm so thankful for that. So y'all are contributing to our Good Hope thing. But anyway, he put a new flag up there. And then when I realized that I knew Kathy was getting ready to bring on the other one, and I thought, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And I didn't know who put the flag up. So I started a search to find out who did it because I wanted to thank him. But I wanted to say, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to take your flag down and put up the flag that the American Legion Auxiliary is putting up here. So he was very understanding about it, but I was just so thankful to know that somebody else cared about our flag. Yeah. So that's it. I'm done.
For being here, and I'll be a little shorter than Randy is, and I wasn't invited to the mic, but in the year 1924, in the year 1948, the United States Postal Service issued a 3-cent stamp to recognize and remember Melina Michael. So if you see some of our ladies wearing, these are actually stamps. They have been turned into part of my presidential fundraiser for my President's Project for this year. My focus this year is amping up mission, and if you've seen the pin design that we did, it's a simple poppy. It's custom for the state of Georgia, and we wanted it to be timeless so that everybody can wear it year over year, so it doesn't have my name or anything. Gary's holding it up. So again, it's wonderful to be in the Melina Michael home, and thank you for everything you've done, and I will cherish this forever. Thank you. Oh, and these are for sale if you'd like to donate.
Thank you so much for that.
This is what it's like to lose control.
I thought I'd start.
You
I'm
lose
not
control.
staying. I was going to start off the fundraiser.
Let him go take a picture. This is yours. You can have it.
Go for it.
Step out.
You can get it.
He wants me that way.
These can't be ordered anywhere else in the United States. I mean, think about it.
Okay, this is the time now where we ask for donations for the VCF. If anybody got anything to bring up, come up here at all and get them to the command, and we'll have you put your ticket. We'll take anything, $5, $10, $1, checks, money orders.
Don't leave without a check.
I'll give these to you.
All right, we need 20 more people.
Can we pass the hat?
Yeah, but you gotta stand.
Okay, so, yesterday, he didn't say that about when I brought my $20 bill up, he made fun of it, because it was so little. So we went 3 more places, and I donated $20 to each place. Last night at our dinner with the National Commander, I challenged the audience. I know there's a lot of big check writers in ALA and ALR and SAL and the Legion, but I'm talking to you people that are sitting there with a $20 bill in your hand, in your pocket. If you could just come up here and donate that, we could raise a lot of money for a very good cause there. So, thank you. Commander?
Gifts and everything. I love it. Brothers here. I'll present you this coin first and foremost.
Mike.
Microphone, sir.
I'm presenting this coin first and foremost because of all the hard work in these riders. Just like that coin, hard as a rock, so are all these riders out here. They work really hard. Even the commander's a rider. We work with the post.
He's a rider.
That's right. We ride, and we help the post. We do events together. We're all one here. So I wanted to present you that coin as well. And then I also want to present you a check for $500 for the VCF. Also in our hard work, we do Ride for America here. And it's a very big event. We have around 1,000 bikes, sometimes more than that. Riders do a lot. Well, some days we can't even hardly walk the next day. We work so hard to put that on. But we raise a lot of money for that. And like I said, we help a lot of veterans with that one event alone. This is for your aid, just to help give him a little something, but this is all memorabilia. you have exactly the same thing.
Laundry detergent.
You have exactly the same thing in here, but it's actually made for your size and everything, but it's memorabilia for Ride for America for the 25th anniversary. So it has shirts, cups that are all monogrammed and everything. So, but we appreciate you and your visit. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that needs to come up with? Just give me a few minutes, yes ma'am, we'll give you all the time you want. The money involved.
Yeah, I know it takes a little time to write the check, so we'll wait.
I have pins.
Jim.
Yes.
Is it Department of Georgia?
Department of Georgia, yes. American Department of Georgia, yes. Come right ahead, sir. Come on up, sir. Come on around. Please come around. Come around. Yeah. Yes, sir. Department. Take a picture with me. Take a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, outfit.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back, but I'm not gonna talk.
She's got a non-speaking rule this time.
A non-speaking.
I just want to give this in memory, in loving memory, in honor of Miss Rowena Miles.
Thank you very much.
Gary, good stuff. Huh? Took a while.
You know better than that. I forgot you were here. Can I make a check?
All right, from the riders and a fundraiser between post 56 and post 93 riders, a check for $500. This is Gary. Come on, Captain.
Where are the Hey, Butch. Yes. Butch. Are they out there?
Okay, no, that's good.
Do we have anybody else? We really appreciate all the donations to the event.
Thank you, everybody. I mean that very sincerely. Thank you for the donations. Especially thank you for the hospitality. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we got somebody else. We got one other.
Running a little behind.
That's right. Come around.
Oh, I don't need a picture.
You do, Terry.
Not yet. I'm stuck here. No, get back here.
Ma'am. I'm all set.
I have time for additional.
Okay.
And I have a presentation to make to the Postal Commander of 233. We have a $100 check that was donated to you from
Yeah, yeah. I will.
Ready to close?
All right, we're gonna, hey, once again, thank you, the Post 233 for hosting this event. Thanks to the district. I think everybody's coming out. I think everybody's contributing to the Commander BCS Fund. And we'll see you next time. Commander?
Thank you, Commander, and thank you, Commander, for being here. There's a lot of commanders. And now, Sergeant at Arms.
Please rise. Place your colors in the place of honor and salute. Two.
Chaplain.
It's been a great day, so let's thank the Lord. Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come back to you today to give you praise for all the great things that you've done in this gathering today. We ask that you continue to be with our national commander as he goes from legion to legion. Bless him to continue to be the leader that we know that he is, and muster all the faith that we can get to him for his glory in this great legions that he will see, because the legions need your support, dear God. Continue to be with us. Be with them as we all disperse. Help us to be safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.